We'll, we'll fill for a minute and count some letters together.
Yeah, right after you said it, I was like, wait a minute. No, that's got to be 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, he's right. He's right.
It really worries me that you had to like expend effort to count off the number of letters in. Okay, good.
Well, I was verifying it. I wasn't just trying to flash count it. I had to make sure.
Oh my god. uh, and Dirk does a math good.
Wait,
Or does math
I
good?
does math. I does math good.
Ah. Wheel of Fortune is looking for Jedis for its Star Wars week. That's
Hmm.
that's trying
You're not
real
gonna
hard
find any Jedi. They're all gone.
to be hip with the kids, isn't it?
Uh,
Is Pat Sajak still hosting that?
yeah, it's still Pat Bana.
Are you serious? They've got to be both in their like early 200s at this point.
Yeah, they're up there.
Wow. Whoops, sorry. Making noise. All right. That's how long have we been recording? Oh, that's almost 2 minutes. Okay, so we're good to go. Ah. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. Okay, here we go. Ow, jam. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is, hang on, episode 669 of the Mana Pool. Obligatory. Nice. Wow, has it really only been 3 episodes since we talked about Satan?
I guess so. We
Man.
took some off.
I guess we took 2 off in December and then 2 more at the beginning of January.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that makes sense. We went from Satan to Santa to Phyrexia. Buh. Yeah, episode 669. I am Chewy, the lead dork. I've got other dorks with me, but because Mike doesn't realize that Brian's not here, I'll just introduce them. So Brian's missing this week for various reasons that we're not entirely sure about ourselves. And Mike is here. He's our beardy man and our rules guy.
That's right.
And Dirk is here. He is our green man and our moral compass.
Greenest man.
Sorry, he's our greenest man.
Self-proclaimed, that is.
Naturally, yeah. And according to the emojis in the chat, Lurking Chewy loves Smiling Chewy. Hang on, I have a response for that. There we go. So Hi, Gothic. So, this is, what was that? Al threw 15 bits. No, I'm sorry. Al threw 6 bits and 9 bits. Thank you. So, Phyrexia. Right. Last week, we took our first look at it with the mechanics, and then we hit the Planeswalkers and a few other cards that, you know, caught our eyes. But now, we have the full set, we're pretty sure, is out in the card image gallery.
Looks like it.
Oh, also, I would like to apologize for the video quality. Well, not the video quality, but the like the cards were all dark last week, and I could not figure out why while we were streaming. But it turns out it's because on this monitor, my new monitor, the main monitor here where I have stuff up, was using, I had HDR turned on because it's a monitor that can do HDR. And for some reason, that causes problems with display capture and window capture. I don't understand that at all. But I turned it off, and the dorks were like, "Oh yeah, that's better." I was like, "What?" So thanks OBS for making it so that I can't use all of the features on my hardware. HDR is good, right? Like, isn't that high dynamic range?
I don't know what it means, honestly.
It's supposed to make blacks blacker and whites whiter. Sounds like that's political, but I assure you it's not. Anyway, right. So let's talk about more of Phyrexia. All will be one. What do we want to do? Like, was that all of the planeswalkers last week? Was that all of them? Did we miss any?
I think we got them all.
I mean, I know we got all the ones that were there last week.
Mhm.
But was that all of them at all? I think it was.
Did Elspeth get a card? Did we talk about it?
I don't know. Did Elspeth get a card?
I don't know.
I mean, it's
either
not
being white or multicolored. So I just checked white. Let's check multicolored. Let's use the search function on the dang webpage.
What? Who even
Nope.
does that?
No Elspeth, so there's no Elspeth card.
Okay, good. I don't want to talk about her anyway. Although we're going to talk about her at some point, I'm sure.
Yes.
All right. How about there's some cycles in here that Dirk brought up earlier. Should we do the sun? The sun's twilight
Yeah, let's
cycle?
do that.
Yeah. So the white sun's twilight for X and 2 white is a rare sorcery that says you gain X life. Boring. Don't you wish that was all it said? That would be the terrible rare. That's worse than Stream of Life. So it says you gain X life. You create X 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature tokens with Toxic 1, and this creature doesn't block. Oh yeah, we've seen the Mites before.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then if X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures. Damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for 7, you get 5 life, which is, whatever, and 5 low toxic dudes, and wipe the rest of the board.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems fine.
Seems fine.
Mhm.
And that's the theme with all of the sun's twilights.
It seems fine.
Well, no. Sorry. The X effect, and then something special happens at 5 or more.
Ah, okay. Wasn't that...
That was what the original Suns did.
The suns had
Yes.
X effects, but they didn't have bonuses.
Yeah,
No, they didn't.
what am I thinking of?
The sun zeniths. Chewy, I think you might be thinking of some cards from Alara block that were associated with Naya that did something if such and such was 5 or more.
No, that was all power 5 or more stuff with
Power
Naya,
5.
wasn't it?
Well, then what? Well, wait a minute.
There are some kind of spells that do more if
It was a
X is
cycle
something.
spell. Well, Martial Coup wasn't Martial Coup from Alara block.
Was it?
I thought it was.
Hang on. Let's go to Gatherer. I'm going to actually just do a search that says...
If X is 5 or more.
Yeah. Rules
Yeah.
text, if X is 5 or more. As if Gatherer wasn't broken enough before, now if you put stuff in quotes, it just doesn't work.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, Banefire. Oh, God. Why do I do this? Visual spoiler. There we go. Apocalypse Hydra, Banefire. Bunch of cards that I don't recognize from various other sets. Why is Grizzly Fate here? I guess because it has all of those. Oh. It doesn't have the word 5 anywhere. Oh, it's in flashback. Oh, Jesus. The flashback cost is 5 green. Gatherer is so broken, man.
Oh gosh. The card lookup in the companion app isn't much better.
Which is probably based on Gatherer, so it's ass.
Yeah, but it's somehow worse. Like
That's impressive.
The rulings notes are all jacked up. Like almost every entry has them duplicated, and there are some entries that are missing some.
That's sad.
Yeah.
So yeah, Martial Coup and Banefire are like only
Okay.
ones I'm seeing. I could have sworn there were more.
Well, Apocalypse Hydra is also from that same set, right?
Oh yeah, that too.
Okay.
Maybe it's not 5? I could have sworn there was a cycle of X spells that said something similar, but it could be that I'm just out of touch and don't remember.
The hour of such and such. Do the hours of such and such do something when X is a big number?
No.
No. Not, oh gosh. There were like 3 different cycles based on those goofy things.
Chat, you got anything? Because we're drowning here, and while we're drowning, we're describing the water.
Yeah.
Oh well, let's just go back to the cards we have. So that's White Sun's Twilight. White Sun's Twilight is neat. How about the blue one?
Blue Sun's Twilight. For X and 2 blue, it's a rare sorcery. Gain control of target creature with mana value X or less. If X is 5 or more, create a token that's a copy of that creature.
Wow, that's
So you gain control of it, and then you get a copy of it.
pretty sweet for 7 mana, actually.
Yeah. I like that.
And if it's something legendary, you don't just make sure it costs it costs 4 or less. Although wait,
What?
I guess if you grab something legendary and then get a token copy.
Yeah, that's not really a bonus. I mean,
Yeah, it's essentially just I get it and you don't.
yeah.
Because then you're either going to lose the copy or the token to the legend rule. I wonder which one would be better to lose. Probably the token, so that's not in their graveyard.
Yeah, probably. Okay, here it is. The finale cycle from War of the Spark did something special when X was 10 or more.
Oh.
That's what I was trying to think of when I said the hour of such, but I just got the cycle wrong.
I don't remember those at all. And it turns out if you do a search for if X is or more, you get 193. With such things as Alexander Clamilton, yes, Alexander Clamilton, and All Hallows Eve.
Ooh, boy.
And the avatars. Wow. Thanks, Gatherer. You are no help. Finale. If X is 10 or more. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Because now that I look at them, yeah, these are familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. So, okay, back to this. Blue Sun's Twilight is more neat. I like it.
Yeah.
Mike, what's black do?
The Black Sun's Twilight is pretty cool. This one's an instant and just costs a single black and X. And it's rare. Up to 1 target creature gets -X until end of turn. If X is 5 or more, return a creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so rules question, Mike. if they sacrifice it in response somehow to make it to where it doesn't target, you don't get your graveyard creature back, do you?
Nope, you're just out of luck.
Because it says return a creature, not like target.
Yeah, it either has 0 targets or 1 target, and that's for the -X/-X. And if you do choose a target for the -X/-X, and it becomes illegal somehow, then
Oh, it says up to.
uh-huh.
So you could just use it as a
Yeah,
reanimation spell.
Yeah, you could.
That's weird. Huh, okay.
But it's a costly reanimation spell. It's never a cheap one.
True. But, you know, if that's all you got. Okay. So that one's pretty cool. Excuse me, I'm dying over here. The red one, what does red start with? There we go. The Red Sun's Twilight for X and 2 red is a sorcery again. Destroy up to X target artifacts. Oh. If X is 5 or more, for each artifact destroyed this way, create a token that's a copy of it. Those tokens gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. What a strange card.
Yeah, I like that.
I guess because they're, you know, a not insignificant number of Phyrexian creatures, of artifact creatures. Neat. So you can blow up your opponent's mana rocks and then tap them all real quick to do something else.
Yeah. You could do something weird and tricky with your mana rocks that make more than 1 mana.
Why are you like this, Mike?
Just hanging out with the wrong crowd, I guess.
Have you been... Did someone offer you Phyrexian oil at a party, Mike?
Just once.
How many times have I told you can't just eat brownies at a concert? You don't know what's in the brownies at the concert, Mike. What if it's Phyrexian oil?
I did that once. It was at a house party, and I just wasn't thinking.
See, I was just going to let that go because I knew that story and that's the thing I was referencing, but they didn't need to know that, but now they know that, so there you go.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess I might as well finish telling the story. It's a pretty short story. It was at a house party for someone I knew from high school who was going away to join the Navy, and it was near the end of the evening. I was just walking around. I had a few drinks in me and another in my hand, and I just saw this little Ziploc bag with brownies just sitting on the middle of a table in a dining room, that, like, an otherwise empty dining room. At that point, I'm just like, oh, word, brownies. So I took just one because I didn't want to be greedy. There weren't very many in the bag. And so then, not too long later, I felt like I was feeling like drunk and to the left. Is the best way to describe it. So, yes.
I'm trying to remember the movie where people, like, there's someone driving a vehicle and all of a sudden they're laughing their asses off. Oh, it was not Tommy Boy. Not Tommy Boy, the other one.
Friday, where they give the guy angel dust, or is that not Friday?
That is Friday, but that's not what I'm thinking of. It's Chris Farley and the guy who's always with David Spade. It was Black Sheep, which Gothic just said, where they're just giggling and all of a sudden Chris Farley goes, "We're stoned," because the nitrous in the back had sprung a leak, and so there was laughing gas in the car, and so that's what I imagine Mike was like. All of a sudden, he was like, "I'm stoned." Anyway, drunk and to the left. I like that. That's really good. All right, anyway. So that's the red one. The red one is neat. Let's do the green. What does that start with? It starts with a green.
It's just green. Green Sun's Twilight. For X and a green, it's a rare sorcery. Reveal the top X plus 1 cards of your library. Choose a creature card and or a land card from among them. Put those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If X is 5 or more, instead put the chosen cards onto the battlefield or into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
It's a very weird wording.
So
Yeah.
for 6, you reveal 6 cards,
Yep.
and if you want, you can put the land and or creature onto the battlefield, or you can just be like, oh no, I'm going to put them in your hand.
Yeah.
Like the
Interesting.
extra, the 5 just gives you the option of being like, yeah, I'm going to put this on the battlefield, or no.
I do like that, like, super early in the game, like, you could pay, 2 and just look at 2 cards.
Yeah.
That just seems like a good way to get yourself out of a tight spot in limited.
Yes,
like,
it would be.
Like, this is god awful. If I don't find something soon, I'm gonna die. Let me just dump 3 mana into this Green Sun's Twilight and see if I can dig my way out.
Yeah. I really didn't. I was really expecting to have drawn another land by now. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah. And in like a super pinch, you could just, because it's X plus 1, you could just pay a green and just look at the top card and put it on the bottom. It's just a little Sky 1, which is awful, but it's an option. And more options, more better.
Yes.
So yeah. I really like the green one.
No, they're not awful, but they are definitely rares.
Oh yeah. So are there any more Twilights?
No, that's all. There's just one in each color.
Thank goodness. Okay. All right, now what?
There were a bunch of legendary.
I mean, it's a Magic set. There's always a bunch of legendaries anymore.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
Yeah, that is true.
I guess we could do Brian's favorite thing and hit the mythics we didn't catch yet.
Yeah.
Like we did Elish Norn.
There's a cycle of the Dominuses.
Oh yeah, we should do the Domini. Dominuses.
Dominaria.
No. No. Not yet. Phyrexians will be back there shortly, I'm sure.
Yes.
All right. Who's up? Mike, I think you were up.
Sure. So starting back up at the top, Mondrak is the Glory Dominus.
No, I'm trying real hard not to make just horrible off-color jokes. Oh look, there's holes. No.
Yeah.
It looks like a floating, like the weird chariot of Elish Norn.
Yeah.
Like Elish Norn's like the thing in the middle top, and it's like a weird chariot is what it looks like to me. Although I doubt that is Elish Norn.
No, that's part of Mondrak. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing though. Yeah, or what you see in there. It also looks like a logo that someone made way too big, like corporate artwork outside of the headquarters. Except, gruesome.
Yeah. With sinews and everything else popping out.
All right. So, all of the Domini here, they do something, but then they also have another ability where it's 1 and 2 colored Phyrexian mana and sacrifice something or get rid of something, and they get an indestructible counter. So that's cool. So what Mondrak does, so The mana cost is 2 white. It's a 4/4 legendary Phyrexian horror. Mythic. All of these are. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go with this again.
Yeah.
Built-in proliferate.
Sort of?
And even more than that. And, the effects that create Phyrexian mites are centered in white. They're associated with.
Oh, I didn't realize that was centered in white. Oh.
I think so, unless I'm mistaken.
Huh?
I think you're right.
Yeah, so you get that. So 4 for a 4/4 with an ability like that, that's pretty cool. But you could also, for 1 and 2 white Phyrexian symbols, and sacrifice 2 other artifacts and or creatures to put an indestructible counter on Mondrak.
Wow, that's a lot of words.
It is.
1 and 2 Phyrexian white symbols, and sacrifice 2 other artifacts and or creatures.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's terrifying.
Yeah, so if you're really serious about it and just want it right away, you can be like, pay a total of 5 mana and 4 life and sacrifice 2 things to just get Mondrak out there and set it up with indestructible. You'll be good.
Yeah.
There's a similar story for the others as well.
All right. Well, let's do Control F for Dominus. So the blue one is. How the hell do you say that? It's either Tekuthal or Tekuthal, maybe?
I feel like Tekuthal sounds
I was about
more
to say.
like it.
It sounds better that way, because Tekuthal sounds like something one of my relatives would say when they're trying to pronounce a big word. Anyway, Tekuthal, we're going to go with that because it does sound better. Inquiry Dominus. For 2 blue is a 3/5 with flying. Also mythic Phyrexian horror. You know the drill. If you would proliferate twice instead. Oh my god, these things are gross.
Mm-hmm.
And then the indestructible ability is the same cost, 1 and 2 blue Phyrexian. Remove 3 counters from among other artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers you control. So the first one, the white one gets rid of creatures or artifacts you control. This one gets rid of counters on things you control. Not necessarily counters you put there, just in case that's a thing in like your Commander games or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just they have to be on things you control. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Plus, they all seem to have something that relates back to their first ability. Like the white one says, if you would make tokens, you get more tokens, and then you sacrifice artifacts and creatures. Gee, what sort of tokens are very prevalent? Oh, artifacts and creatures.
Yeah.
And Tekuthal has the whoops, scroll too far. The proliferate twice instead, and you remove counters. So it's working with itself.
Energy.
So that's pretty cool. I like the design of these first 2.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Chifuji pointed out that Tekuthal is playing with action figures in the art, and that's sort of what it looks like.
Yes.
Man, I'm gonna get you. Man. And Ellis Norn's like, come to dinner. He's like, I'm playing. Anyway, so the black one is Drivnod.
Drevnod.
What?
Drevnod. Or Drivnod.
Drivnod. Drivnod. I don't like that at all. That does not roll off the tongue at all.
So Drivnod, Carnage Dominus for 3 and 2 black is an 8/3 Phyrexian horror that's mythic. 8/3. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, That ability triggers an additional time.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know.
And for 2 Phyrexian black mana, sacrifice 3 creature cards from your graveyard,
You
put
want,
an indestructible counter on Drevnod.
you want to try that part again?
Exile 3 creature cards from your graveyard.
There we go. Interesting that they broke the symmetry with Drivnod. It's only the 2 Phyrexian black instead of 1 and 2 Phyrexian black.
Yeah, the cost is higher than the other 2 we read. Maybe they just had to make the upfront cost more.
Oh, yeah, that too. Huh. Okay, if a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control, that's a whole lot of words. There's not anything in this set, like, mechanics-wise, that would feed off of that, right?
No, not like themed mechanics. There's
Yeah.
other things in here that care about stuff dying.
Well, yeah, like right next to it is the Cutthroat Centurion. No, that's a
Right.
sacrifice. Never mind. That
There
has
are other
nothing to
thing-
do with something dying.
There are other things that do, like I know there are some cards in here that like give stuff oil counters or get oil counters when something dies.
That's true, yeah. And I guess because it deals with things dying, then you're exiling things from your graveyard to make it indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. I don't like this card. I don't know why. It's not doing anything for me. And also the art Drivnod is terrifying. And hard to say. Drivnod sucks. Alright, next.
It's got an odd shape to it. Just an 8/3. That's just weird.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a Reaper to me from Mass Effect.
You would say that though.
I know.
I mean,
That's
assuming
why I did.
Yeah, assuming it's because it reminds you of a Reaper. I never actually played the Mass Effect games, so. Oh well. And we're back to Mondrak. How did that happen? 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So next up is Solfim. Why? Solfim? Solfim.
Sulfim, I guess.
I hate this. Mayhem Dominus. I like that. For 2, red is a 5/4. Oh, right. I've seen this one. This is the one that doubles your burn. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent that opponent controls, it deals double that damage instead. So, yeah, that one, it doubles your burn. Like, nice and simple.
Shock does 4 damage instead of 2.
See, exactly. Dirk math's good.
I can mass good.
And the indestructible is 1 and 2 red Phyrexian and discard 2 cards. Oh.
Yeah, that's one where there's tension. It doesn't feed itself.
Well, it doesn't feed itself, but it sort of makes up for itself.
Yeah.
Like losing 2 cards in hand, which are presumably burn cards, or could be burn cards, are fine because you're doubling the damage all your others do.
Yeah.
I guess that's how my brain processed it. But you're right, there is a tension there because you're gonna have to lose potentially, cards that would benefit.
Unless it's like the Red Sun Zenith. Because didn't that bring stuff back that was in your graveyard? Or Red Sun's...
The Black Sun's Twilight brings stuff back.
Okay. Yeah, because the red one destroys artifacts, makes tokens.
Oh, my brain
Can't you
was going all the
sacrifice
way
the
back to
blades?
actual Red Sun Zenith going, what?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
meant
just a blaze.
Twilight. I meant Twilight. My bad.
All right. Why are we back at white? Damn it. Alt F. All right. Then we've got the green one. How the hell do you say that?
Zapandrel.
Zapandrel. Yeah, that sound. Yeah. Just call him Zop for short, because you know that's what his mama called him when she was mad. Well, not when she was mad. When she was mad, she used the full name. Zapandrel Hunger Dominus, get in here!
You go ahead and take it, Mike.
Okay. So Zapandrel, is is the most expensive one for 5 green,
Uh,
a 4/6 with reach, and at the beginning of each combat. Oh, I didn't. Each combat, not just yours. Wow. At the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn.
Holy
Jesus.
my.
Gosh. And this one, it's just 2 green Phyrexian symbols and sacrifice 2 other creatures to get an indestructible counter. So here's another one where it's just like, it's not feeding itself. You have to give up other things that you're working with here. Kind of like the red one. But I mean, that's a big, but like the red one, its ability is a big bonus.
Mm. Well, it's in a color that makes creatures, so that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
I think it's funny that the first two really fed into each other, and the last couple did not. Like, again, they've got really great abilities, but that second ability just does not feed as into the other as much as the first two did.
Right.
Yeah, that is. Although I guess the black one isn't super related either. They just both deal with things that are dying or things that already died.
Right, that's true.
But the first two definitely work together, and the others not as such. And yeah,
I
the
wonder if
way
they
that
just
this
couldn't
is
find a theme to put those into, or something of that sort.
Yeah, it might have just been too hard to do it. I think you're right.
and the way that this is sized, these two Phyrexian symbols look different, but when I zoomed in, they're not. So I guess it's just the way that the algorithm changes the size of the image. Because I was like, why are those different symbols? That's stupid. And then, oh, they're not. Okay. Just checking.
Go on.
Do what?
Hurry on, little people.
Who are little people?
I don't know. I make it up as I go.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's go back to the top. Are there any more mythics that we missed? Hellish Norn, Mondrak. We talked about the Phyrexian Indicator, right? Vindicator. Sorry.
You.
So yeah, have you seen that already?
Yeah.
Or did I send that to you guys?
Indicate.
Oh no, I meant the Phyrexian Indicator.
Oh no.
Oh, someone made that. It was posted in the Discord. Hang on,
That's great.
I will text it to you now because I sent it to Clues because Clues thought that Indicate was one of the funniest things he'd ever seen.
Well, it is.
Exactly. And so I sent him the Phyrexian Indicator, and he replied with, "I'm laughing out loud here in my room." I'm like, "Good, I was too." And we broken Mike. All right, hang on. Let me go find it so I can put it on screen.
It's just the solitary that sitting in the exact center of the text box. It's just...
All right. Nope, hang on. I'm trying to get this center. I can't get it any more centered. But yeah, it's Phyrexian indicator just says that. And then the flavor text says you. So yeah. Indicate is also is where this started. It's like the best thing ever. And he's even pointing is what makes the Phyrexian
Yes.
indicator. He's like that over there.
With the largest hand, pointy thing you could ever have,
Yeah.
pointing at something.
So okay, right. So we I think we read the Phyrexian Vindicator last week, right?
Maybe.
Remember?
I don't think we did. Okay, so for 4 white mana, so white. It's a 5/5 Phyrexian horror with flying. If damage would be dealt to Phyrexian Vindicator, prevent that damage. When damage is prevented this way, Phyrexian Vindicator deals that much damage to any other target. No, I don't think we read this last week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a targeting stuffy doll. Sort of.
Yeah. It takes in the damage and then like takes that damage, puts it in its gun, and is like, "Oh, really?" Sends it somewhere else. I'm trying to think what kind of. I can't remember what creature did that in one of the shows I watched or something where whatever you dealt to it, it dealt right back.
That sounds like some anime nonsense.
Yeah, but this something I've seen at some point, probably long ago. But anyway, that's really cool.
So yeah, it's like an obliterator, but different.
Yeah, but the damage actually gets prevented. That's the twist.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a really buffed up stuffy doll that has a shotgun. So yeah, that's terrifying. And I think that's it for Mythics in White. Yeah. So in blue,
It's Icomer Moon Gauntlet.
Icor Moon?
Icor Moon.
Because that's Icor, right? That's how we decided that's supposed to be pronounced?
I mean, I guess. I don't think it sounds good.
No, it sounds
even though
awful.
even though I know that, I'm still gonna say Icar.
Yeah, like Icar is how it just feels better that way, but apparently it's Icor, which I hate.
Nah.
Is whatever. Anyway, when I was looking over, I'm going, what in the world is that? And then I realized, oh, it's a planeswalker thing.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's a loyalty cost symbol, yeah.
Yeah. Took a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Hang on. Dictionary.com. I'm going to get it to play a pronunciation. Dorks, you won't be able to hear it, but chat will.
Icor.
That was really loud, and she said Icor, and I hate her.
Yeah, no, I'm not on board with that.
Yeah, like Icoria, I guess, makes sense because it's a proper place in IKOR, yeah, but no. We refuse. You can pry my short I pronunciation out of my cold, dead hands. The liberals are coming for your pronunciation. Oh, God. Okay, anyway, what does the Icar or Icor Moon Gauntlet do?
For 2 and a blue, it's a mythic artifact. Planeswalkers you control have for 0 loyalty proliferate, and for -12, which was the part where I'm looking and going, what in the world is that? But I'm pretty sure it's 12.
It is.
Take an extra turn after this one.
Huh.
So just gain these. And
That's
whenever you cast a non-creature spell, choose a counter on target permanent. Put an additional counter of that kind on that permanent.
Yeah, with the obvious implication being put loyalty counters on a planeswalker.
Yeah.
Wow. Tommy O, you've looked better in the past, I gotta say. Although I do like your new shiny Phyrexian tattoo. You know. That's neat. Actually, I don't like it, but you can't tell someone who just got a new tattoo that you don't like it. You just can't. That's a dick move of unparalleled proportions. So you've got to be like, nice. And that's it. So she's like, look, I got this. It's a glowing Phyrexia tattoo. I'm like, oh, nice. Well, I gotta run. Anyway, yeah, that's a bizarre card, and I like it.
It is, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Also, making all of your planeswalkers have the ability to go 0 proliferate. If you've got more than one planeswalker,
Yeah. Because if you have, let's see.
Oh, he's doing math.
Yeah, it would take too long for me to figure it out.
Oh, okay.
Like you don't need a full suite of 13 to get infinite turns, but I don't know what the number is lower than that. I can't figure. Don't have time to figure it out right now.
A full suite of 13 planeswalkers?
Yeah,
Is that what
like,
you meant?
huh?
Is that what you meant?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Oh, wow. But if you did have a full suite of 13 planeswalkers, you could, take infinite turns.
Yeah, you definitely could, but you would also be able to do it with some lower number, but I don't know where the floor is.
All right.
Because the one that you're not taking 12 off of, you're only taking 12 off of one, and the others have big stacks on them from the proliferating that everyone else is doing. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chifuji said, I think you'd have to use the factorial function.
Probably.
Nobody knows how to use the factorial function. The first time I saw factorial, I thought someone was just really excited about math.
3, yes.
Because the mathematical symbol for factorial, for those of you that aren't giant nerds like we are, it's an exclamation point. So, yeah. Anyway. So the Ickermoon Gauntlet. Oh, wait, there's something in the chat earlier. It was...
Oh, yeah?
Chifuji said, Icker and Wyvern and Cecil are words that feel better to say wrong. Or Icor and Wyvern and Cecil, I guess. I don't know which way is right for those last two. I've noticed I go back and forth between Wyvern and Wyvern, but because I'm not British, it's always Cecil. Mm-hmm. But British people say Cecil. That's like Bernard and Bernard.
Right.
Which is very weird to me. Because, like, the character from, what's the Maniac Mansion is Bernard, but the guy from Black Books is Bernard Black. And in my brain, those are two different names. But I was listening to the Kane and Rince, which is primarily a British podcast, about Maniac Mansion, and they kept saying Bernard, and one of them went, I'm sorry, since he's American, it's probably... And he said Bernard, but he said it wrong because he's British, and it's just alien to him.
Bernard.
Yeah, and it made me go, oh. Like... But anyway. All right, moving on. More mythics.
Yeah.
Oh no, we did.
Oh, we got another comment in the chat that it's a cool thing. The gauntlet is a cool thing to use with all of the planeswalkers from War of the Spark that don't have natural plus abilities.
Yeah, it's true. Anytime I think of planeswalkers that don't have a plus ability, like wasn't the first one Sarkon the Mad?
Yes, Sarkon the Mad.
Yeah, that's always who pops into my mind when you say planeswalkers without a plus. I'm like Sarkon the Mad? Like, what about all the others? I'm like, there were others? Because he was the first one.
Phyrexian Obliterator.
Yeah, Phyrexian Obliterator's been reprinted. He's the first one. I don't think we actually read it. We just mentioned it last week.
Yeah, just like, hey, check it out, Phyrexian Obliterator.
Yeah, and that was right at the end. So, hey, one of you tell us what that does.
Let me go back to it real quick. Phyrexian Obliterator for 4 and black is a 5/5 Phyrexian horror that's mythic with trample.
And that's 4 black mana, not 4 and a black. I'm not sure if he said that or if that's just what I heard. But either way, it's black.
4 black mana. Has trample. Whenever a source deals damage to Phyrexian Obliterator, the source's controller sacrifices that many permanents.
Yeah. This is a reprint from nope, gotta look it up.
Was Phyrexian Obliterator in Scars of Mirrodin, or was it New Phyrexia?
I don't remember which one.
I don't think it was in the middle set that I'm blanking on for some reason.
It was in New Phyrexia.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which one. So this is this is my go-to example for a card that is stupidly powerful that just didn't have a place in the meta.
No.
And never saw any play.
Because the only kind of deck it could be played in wasn't any good.
Exactly.
Or wasn't good enough to compete with the others.
Yeah. So here's hoping that the Obliterator gets another shot. I kind of doubt it. Just because Magic is a much different game than it was back then. But you never know. Plus, I really like the sick new art where he's got a massive tail and looks like... What does that look like? Some sort of alien predator hybrid thing?
Yeah.
Except from a better movie than the one where that happened. What was that called? Requiem. Alien versus Predator Requiem, which was bad on pretty much every level.
Yep. Razor in the chat, Razorback says, I tried to make this card work in Standard last time, but never could. It's like you were in good company.
Oh, hey, look! They said the thing! The first card in red. Mike, they said the thing!
Yay! All will be one.
Roll credits.
It is, in fact, a Story Spotlight card.
Oh. Well, how about that? So what's that do?
So it's a red mythic enchantment.
Nope, I'm out. Later, y'all.
For 3 red, an enchantment. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, all will be one deals that much damage to target opponent, creature and opponent controls, or planeswalker and opponent controls.
Oh my god. That is definitely a red rare enchantment.
Yes, it is.
But this one has a potential to be completely insane.
Yeah.
And it has a potential to sit there and do nothing.
It does, because even just having things enter the battlefield under your control with counters does qualify as putting counters on them.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Like, all will be one is sick with any planeswalkers at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's sick with proliferate.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, wait. It says when you put one or more counters on a permanent or a player. So if you proliferate and you've got, let's say, 4 things that you're adding counters to,
Mm-hmm.
does it deal 1 damage 4 times? No. Hang on, the way it's worded.
Yeah, yeah. Because the instance that it's looking for is putting something on a permanent or a player. So the number of objects you put counters on will be the number of triggers.
And the number of counters that go on each one is the amount of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
Dude, you could play Dark Depths and just ding someone for 10.
Why are you like this?
I don't know. I was trying to think of something that entered the battlefield with a lot of counters, and I'm like, dude.
Wow, yeah, that is gross.
Mm-hmm.
Arcbound creatures.
Oh yeah, that's Arcbound Ravager just became like a even faster freaking win condition.
And you also have whatever it was
with a
that
5-mana enchantment. But, yeah.
What was what were the mythics that the one that comes in and whatever stuff comes in, it doubles the number of counters that come in?
There's been a couple of those, like Doubling Season is the big example.
Oh no, we had one of the.
What are you talking about?
The dummies that we talked about just a little bit ago.
Hey, dummy. Oh, no, Mondrak was, is it the blue one?
Yeah, the blue one makes you proliferate twice.
Oh yeah, that was, Jesus. Okay, hang on.
No, it's not that one. Is it Yeah, Mondrak.
Mondrak is
if one or more tokens were created, twice that many of those tokens.
Tokens, not counters.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, so hang on, I gotta look this up and then put it on the screen for Quest for Pure Flame, which I think is the infinite damage combo that people have been talking about. Quest for Pure Flame is the enchantment from Zendikar that says whenever a source you control deals damage to an opponent, you may put a quest counter on Quest for Pure Flame.
Oh, cool.
So you have out Quest for Pure Flame and all will be one, and then you do any damage at all to your opponent, and then you win.
Great.
So it's a 2-card, 6-mana combo with a point of damage in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only way to, like, there's no way to deal damage in and of itself with those 2 cards. So
yeah,
it's not actually a 2-card combo. But still.
Yeah, a 3-card combo for 6 or more mana, that's acceptable.
Yeah, that's fine. So, all right, All Will Be One is hilarious. Oh, here's a Dagron.
Yay.
The Capricious Hellraiser. Oh, why'd they name it after me? I am neither capricious nor a Hellraiser. Although I don't remember what capricious means, so I might be. Not Capricorn. Capricious means given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior. Yeah, that's not me. I'm fairly even most of the time.
Yeah.
What's the definition of Hellraiser? That is a 1987 British supernatural horror film written and directed by Clive Barker. No, not that one. Never mind. So Capricious Hellraiser for 3 and 3 red is a Phyrexian dragon. Ugh. That is a 4/4. It costs 3 less to cast if you have 9 or more cards in your graveyard. So then you get a 4/4 flyer for 3. Okay. When Capricious Hellraiser enters the battlefield, exile 3 cards at random from your graveyard. Choose a non-creature, non-land from among them, and copy it, and you can cast the copy without paying its mana cost.
So that's a really neat a balancing factor. When it's cheap, you have less control over what you have to choose from, since it's picking stuff at random from a larger set.
Yeah. And when it's not cheap, you have more control, but it costs twice as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a nice little balancing factor there.
Yeah. I like it. That's a fun card.
That is. Except for the fact that it's a Phyrexian dragon that is terrifying beyond all reason.
Yeah.
Gracious.
Like, I think the only thing worse would be Phyrexian spider.
Is that in here?
There's at least one in green, yes.
Okay, you go to hell. It
Is
does look like Deathwing.
Oh, yeah.
Except probably small. I think Deathwing would be bigger than a 4/4.
Yes.
I mean, he was a 12/12 in Hearthstone. What was the second version of Deathwing?
Was it? I think that was also 12.
Was it?
The one
I
with
can't
the
remember.
death rattle that dropped dragons on the board.
I don't remember now.
I don't remember.
Anyway. Alright, what else we got that's mythic-y? Koth is not mythic because he did not get eaten.
Tyrannex Rex.
That's fun. Where's that?
Green.
Oh, is that the next mythic? Really?
Oh,
Mhm.
Damn. That's a
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
one, too.
Tyrannex Rex. It's really fun to say real fast. For 4 and 3 green, so a total of 7, it's an 8/8 Phyrexian dinosaur.
Okay,
This-
that's worse than Phyrexian Dragon.
Mhm. This spell can't be countered. It has trample, ward 4, and haste. And, just to add insult to injury, toxic 4.
Because that's really what Toxic does on top of an 8/8 with Trample. It's just insult to injury. It's like you literally got trampled by. I can't say that on the show. You literally got trampled by a big ass monster, and then someone walks by and like injects you with something like nah. While you're laying there in a heap. Like, thanks for that. Wow, that thing is big green and terrifying and hard to deal with. Ward 4
Yeah.
and haste. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And the trample really makes the toxic meaningful. Even though the toxic value is so much less than the power, because you actually get into situations where if someone's just trying to block to soak up damage, you could spill over and actually be handing out more poison counters than damage.
Yeah. Like, unless they can soak up all of it, you're still almost halfway to dead.
Right, yeah. Like, unless I missed something, there are no creatures in this set with a toxic value greater than their power. So,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I didn't see any. I've skimmed back and forth across this a bunch of times, and I haven't, nothing stands out in my mind. I haven't seen any.
Weird.
And there are very few with a toxic value greater than half of their power. Unless it's like, 1.
Say like the mites are 1/1s with toxic 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something interesting. I guess just as an aside, that's something interesting I've noticed about this, is that just the way that is, and I think there's only 1 or 2 cards that I remember seeing, that maybe 2 or 3, that can add to or increase a creature's toxic value. The damage is going to get to your opponent faster than the poison counters, but there are so many cards with a corrupted effect to turn on
Yeah.
by getting your opponent poisoned. It's really more about that, and then just having the inevitability where even if your opponent is able to prevent some of the damage but not all of it, or gain some amount of life, you will get them with the poison eventually if your combat damage can't do it somehow. But I feel like it's more about setting up, like not directly doing poison, but like either inevitability or setting up proliferate to get you there, or just setting up the corrupted improvements.
There are also several cards that just say, like there was one posted in the Discord earlier in blue that says your opponents all get a poison counter, draw a card.
Yeah, and that's really cool, because that's even a thing where you don't even need any toxic creatures to do the thing. If you can get started that way and have enough proliferate, then you can get it from there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then there's things like the Venerated Rot Priest, which I think we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
Did we?
That sounds familiar, but I don't know if that's just because I've seen them while we were looking around.
So Venerated Rot Priest, just while we're here, for a single green, is a Phyrexian Druid 1/2 that's rare. That says Toxic 1. So look, 1 power, 1 toxic. What? But then it says whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. That doesn't say the target of a spell your opponents control. It just says when one of your things gets targeted.
Yeah.
So like pump spell, get a poison counter.
Yeah, and because of that, and as a little bit of a defense against removal, or just a not really defense, because they're still going to try to kill your stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Just as a little bonus for removal. This might be one of the very, very few cards, possibly the only cards, that I think has a chance at breaking into established infect decks in competitive formats, because of its abilities. Because everything else, the toxic value is the toxic value. You can't change that.
Yeah.
No matter what you do to it. But this one, I think, has an actual possibility.
Could be.
Because of how, like you pointed out, how it interacts with your own pump spells.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Gothic pointed out in green, the Paladin of Predation is... it's got Toxic 6.
Mm-hmm. And Power 6, yeah. So that's one that...
Yeah. But that
really matters.
That's one of the few with... What was it you said? Greater than 4? Yeah.
Yeah, that's with greater than half of its power. Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about that last week, though, didn't we? Because of the...
Might have.
Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less is a classic ability.
Yes, we could. Mm-hmm.
The Plague Nurse right next to it, which is a common, is a 3/4 with Toxic 2 for 3 and a green. That says... has an activated ability 2 and a green. Each other creature you control with Toxic gains Toxic 1 until end of turn. Activate only once each turn, thank goodness. Because Toxic stacks.
Mm-hmm.
And the Plague Nurse is the proof of that. Because she has Toxic 2, and if you activate her ability, she'll have Toxic 2 and Toxic 1, which is not quite the same as Toxic 3, I don't think.
The ability says each other, so...
Oh, each other. Okay, so not her. So if you've got another Plague Nurse, that one will get Toxic 2 and Toxic 1. Which, again, I don't think is exactly the same as Toxic 3 from a back-end perspective, but it's Toxic 3.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it might be the same, because this isn't like a triggered ability.
No, yeah, with the way that... Usually, if something is supposed to be a triggered ability, they'll make that clear in the reminder text, but they don't write it that way here.
Yeah, no. So I guess that is the same. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. But anyway. Oh yeah, we were doing mythics. We didn't even get to the multicolored yet.
No.
So we did Atraxa last week, because of course we did. We did Luca last week. We did Nahiri last week.
Yeah.
And there are no more mythics in multicolored. Wow.
Huh.
Nope.
That's cool.
The next one is Staff of Completion.
Oh yeah, the Staff of Completion is a trip.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, somebody read that.
All right. Um, so it's a mythic artifact that costs 3. It has a bunch of abilities. Tap, pay 1 life, destroy target permanent you own. Tap, pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. Tap, pay 3 life, proliferate. Tap, pay 4 life, draw a card. 5 mana, untap Staff of Completion.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
It's very Phyrexian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
And I'm pretty sure all of those life totals are about right for what the card's doing.
Yeah, I feel like it for not having to spend any mana.
Yeah. Seem.
Yeah,
What
the
is
mana
that?
one is a little pricey, but hey, you're getting a card with a zillion abilities, so.
Yeah. Sorry, my air just came on, and with the headphones on, it sounded very strange, which is why I just said, "What is that?" It was not the Staff of Completion; it was the sound that I heard. Uh, we did the toy Sword of Fortune Frontier last week.
Right. Yep. And there are no mythic lands.
Really? Wow.
Really?
I want to look at some of these lands though, because some of these are cool.
So there are 9 spheres, 5 common and 4 rare.
Yeah, and the common ones are they're all very simple. I could have sworn there was an artifact cycle that did exactly this, but there's not, weirdly enough. So the spheres all enter the battlefield tapped. They tap for whatever color of mana, and I think, yeah, they're all the same. For 1 and that color of mana, and tap and sacrifice it, you draw a card. And I googled. I went to Gatherer and I searched for artifacts that did this, and there is not a monocolored cycle of artifacts that does exactly this. But you know what cards, just as a group, do that? The spheres.
Mm-hmm. I thought the spell bombs, or did they not?
I mean, one of the spell bombs draws a card.
I must be thinking of something else.
Because the red aligned one, like, it also didn't use colored mana symbols, I don't think, did it? The Pyrite spell bomb, did that use mana symbols?
For the damage ability, like all of those, they used the colored symbol for the damage ability and a generic symbol for the
card draw. That's what it was, yeah.
And then when the cycle in Scars of Mirrodin, you could sacrifice them to draw a card, but then if you also paid a colored mana, you got an effect.
Right, yeah. But no, I meant like a mana rock, like a colored cycle of Mind Stone, essentially, is what I was looking for.
Yeah, no, I don't think there are.
And no. But so yeah, now we've got what are those called? We've got the Autonomous Furnace, which is a great band name. The Dross Pits in black, the Fair Basilica in white, the Hunter Maze in green, which pretty sure is a horror movie. And what was the blue? And the Surgical Bay, which is absolutely a horror movie. So that's just a nice little like common cycle for limited. Now for the other spheres, we talked about the Seed Core last week, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got? Oh, we've got more of these
Land ones.
the what is the Copperline Gorge? What are these called, chat?
Fast lands, is that what people...
Is that what they're called? I can't remember any of these anymore. They weren't the Tango lands.
No.
Because that was where you need 2. This one is if you have 2 or fewer. But yeah, the fast lands. Okay, yeah, the fast land, the allied fast lands are back. Blackcleave Cliffs, Copperline Gorge, Dark Slick Shores, Razor Verge Thicket, and Seachrome Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and simple. Those are from, is it Scar? Oh, chat just said Scars of Mirrodin. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, but these other spheres, we've got the Mycosynth Gardens, which is one of the rare ones. It's taps for colorless, or 1 and tap to get a mana of any color, or X. Whoop, sorry, touch the mouse. Or X and tap, and it becomes a copy of target non-token artifact you control with mana value X. That does not say until end of turn, so that's like a one-shot thing.
Yeah, it does not say until end of turn, and it does not say it still has this ability.
Yeah, so you lose your Mycosynth Gardens, and it becomes another whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. That's cool. What did the Seed Card do again? Oh, it gave 1/1 creatures Unholy Strength.
Yes.
Okay.
Monumental Facade.
Yeah, what's that do?
So it is a land sphere. The Monumental Facade enters the battlefield with 2 oil counters on it. Tap, add 1 generic mana.
Colorless mana.
Tap. Do what?
Colorless mana.
Colorless mana, my bad. Tap, remove an oil counter from the Monumental Facade. Put an oil counter on target artifact or creature you control, activate only as a sorcery.
That's really weird.
Because the oil counter does what?
Lots of different things.
Yeah, it depends on what the card says. In and of themselves, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
But there are lots of cards that do stuff with, depending on the number of oil counters that they have on them, or they can spend oil counters to do stuff.
Yeah. My favorite one that I've seen thus far was the one we read last week, the new Blastoderm, the evolved, what's it called? Spinoderm in green, where it's essentially fading or vanishing, which is a trip. Oh, no, hang on. These are artifacts. And what's the last one?
Mirax, right next to it.
Oh, right next to it. There we go. Okay, what's that do?
So this one, it can tap for colorless. It can also tap, add 1 mana of any color, activate only if Mirax entered the battlefield this turn.
That's weird.
Yeah. Pay 3 and tap, and you get a Might token.
Huh.
Artifact creature, toxic 1, can't block.
That middle ability is a trip.
Yeah, it's cool. Let's see, Crumbling Vestige, is that what it was called in one of the Zendikar sets? Where it entered tapped, and it tapped for colorless, but when it entered the battlefield, you got 1 mana of any color.
Oh, yeah. God, I'd forgotten all about that card.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of weird but neat card design going on in this set. I feel like slightly more than usual. But like, yeah, that one's strange to me. And the Monumental Facade is so weird because it's actually, wouldn't that be facade because it doesn't have the little hurt in the bottom of the C? And anyway, but I don't know what the C with the little hurt at the bottom is called. Thus, I call it a little hurt.
I don't remember either.
But yeah, a land that just does oil counter shenanigans at rare. I don't know why. That's what. Is that like for people that are gonna build oil counter proliferate decks? Just here's a bone.
Yeah, I mean it has to be because it's just another like basically free source of oil counters that you don't really have to work for. Because a lot of others, they get oil counters when you do something specific. There are some that just put a couple oil counters on themselves and that's it. They don't have a built-in way to get any more.
Yeah. Just like seeing that at rare makes me go, ugh.
Hmm.
But I guess it was to keep it from clogging up limited, which is, why so many things are the rarity they are.
Right. And honestly, if that was common, that would make kind of a mess in limited play with oil counter synergies.
Oh yeah, like for sure. I was thinking uncommon in my head, but then I
Yeah,
don't
that'd still
I
be a
think
bit
that's
much.
still too
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Mhm.
So is that all? That is all the lands. Okay. I like the common sphere cycle a lot. And I
Mhm,
like
mhm.
most of the rare spheres. The facade is a bit much. Oh, and terramorphic expanse is here too. We didn't say that, but it is.
Yeah, it shows up a lot.
Yeah. So, oh hey, let's read the tablet of completion since we read the staff. The tablet of completion for 2 mana is a rare artifact. Tap. Put an oil counter on tablet of completion. Hey, look, oil counters. Tap. Add colorless mana. Activate only if it has 2 or more oil counters. Oh. And then pay 1 and tap to draw a card. Oh, activate only if it has 5 or more oil counters on it. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. That's a neat little thing. Plus, you can. Oh, and it doesn't remove counters. So
No.
once you get it to 5, you can just pay 1, draw a card? That's gross. Hello, monumental facade. I like you more all of a sudden. All right.
For
Uh,
5 mana, you could use a Staff of Completion, untap it, and then do it again.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, wait, the staff only untaps itself.
But you can proliferate
never
with
mind.
it.
Oh, you can proliferate. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, the staff of domination untapped something else, didn't it?
Um,
It did everything else. I just assume it did that too.
no, it can tap stuff. I thought it could
No,
just.
it also draws a card.
Staff of
Yeah, I don't know.
domination. Let's see. It untapped itself. Yeah, untap. Oh, untap target creature. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Okay.
So yeah, it untapped itself for 1, gained a life, untap target creature, tap target creature, and draw a card. Oh wow, dude, it's like an inverse. Look at this. So 5 and tap to draw a card, or tap and 4 life to draw a card. Wow. Okay. I like the callback. Okay. Anyway. So chat. What else should we talk about while we're here? Okay, Razorback said, without shenanigans, the tablet turns on the draw ability on turn 7. Obviously, you wouldn't play it without some proliferate shenanigans. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit slow otherwise. Ooh, should we talk about the Silex?
Yes, we should.
Well, tell you what, you talk about the Silex, because I gotta go again. Herp.
All right. So the filigree silex, it's a legendary artifact. Just costs 2. It's rare. Can tap to put an oil counter on the filigree silex. Can tap and sacrifice the filigree silex to destroy each non-land permanent with a mana value equal to the number of oil counters on the filigree silex. So it's like ratchet bomb territory. But it has another ability: tap and remove 10 oil counters from among permanents you control and sacrifice the filigree silex, it deals 10 damage to any target. So it doesn't have to pull from itself. Anything else you have out there with oil counters, it can pull in to help use that last ability. So I wish Brian was here, because I know he's been keeping up with the story, because I haven't read up on the details of exactly what the filigree silex is and how it came to be. Cardboard Samurai says, I can't wait to lose to it at the pre-release. Talking about this, or you talking about the Juggernaut?
And it's featured in the art of one of the cards.
Jace
in it.
Yes, it is. That is Bring the End. For some reason, the name stands out to me. It's in blue. Scroll.
Yeah.
Okay, what I missed?
Just read the text. Pointed out that you can get the oil counters for the last ability from. They don't have to come from the filigree silex itself. It says from any of your stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And then Dirk pointed out that it's also featured in the story spotlight card, Bring the Ending, up in blue.
It is. Yeah, I wish there was an easy way to see the story spotlight cards in order. Like, they used to have a number on them. They don't anymore.
Yeah. And there used to just be like 4 or 5, but I feel like there's more than that. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But the important part of Bring the Ending is really the flavor text. Kaya watched in horror as the illusion vanished from her hands. Jace held the real silex and had activated it before Phyresis claimed his mind. So that really makes me wonder.
Bad thing?
Yeah, I don't know. That really makes me wonder about what order things happen in here. And again, I wish Brian was here, because I feel like he's been keeping up with the story, but I haven't been able to.
Yeah, according to the Discord, like, apparently Kaya was gonna do the heroic sacrifice thing, and then whoops, nope, Jace is gonna do it, and then somehow Elspeth was like, screw both of y'all, I'm gonna do it. Or something.
Yeah. But if he's doing it before Phyresis has claimed his mind, then what is he doing in the other cards where he shows up and it looks like he's pretty well claimed? So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Also, I just like the name Bring the Ending. I don't know. That feels like what I say when I've been streaming a game for too long. Like, all right, just come on, bring the ending, let's go. Ready to start. That's what I was doing when I was playing Doom 3. Oh, Razorback said Elspeth disappeared with the Silex into the blind eternities before it went off. Well, what good does that do? How are you going to stop the Phyrexians if you don't blow them up? Jesus, Elspeth, pay attention. We're trying to blow... I can't say that on the show. We're trying to blow stuff up. Let's see. So, chat, what else is there? Oh, there's a vehicle.
Yeah, there's a few of them hanging around here.
Oh. It's a common vehicle. The Meldweb Strider for 4 and a blue is a 5/5 vehicle with vigilance. It enters the battlefield with an oil counter on it, of course. And you can remove an oil counter from it, and it becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Oh. And it has crew 3. So you can either get 3 power to drive it, or it'll just turn itself on and hopefully not pull a Tesla and explode. Hopefully. Trying to think of stuff that has, like, caught my eye elsewhere. Hey, Thrumming Bird is back.
Yeah, Thrumming Bird, yay.
Nice. What about this guy, Unctus? That's a hell of a name, dude. Unctus. That sounds like a Dr. Seuss name.
Yes.
Unctus, the Grand Metatect. Not architect. Metatect. That sounds like what Zuckerberg forces his employees to call themselves. For 1 blue, it's a 2/4 legendary artifact creature Phyrexian Vidalkin. And that type line text is very tiny. Other blue creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes tapped, draw a card, then discard a card. Ooh. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. Ooh. And for a Phyrexian blue mana, until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a blue artifact in addition to its other colors and types. Activate only as a sorcery. Ooh. So you can make something a blue artifact to give it +1/+1 and then attack with it to loot. Neat. Yeah, Unctus is a trip. Chat says Unctus loots your entire deck with Epheto Alchemist. Nope, don't remember.
It's I just looked it up. It's a wizard from Onslaught.
Oh.
Where you can tap it to untap target artifact or creature, and it doesn't involve any mana payment. It's just tapping the Epheto Alchemist.
So how do the Epheto Alchemist targets itself? Okay.
Yeah, it's allowed to target itself.
Yeah, I was like, so how does that make a loop? Okay, I'm good. Yeah, we talked about Skrelv's Hive last week. We didn't talk about Skrelv.
No.
I didn't even realize Skrelv was its own card because it wasn't here last week. All right, what's a Skrelv?
So Skrelv is a Defector Mite. For a single white mana, it's a 1/1 legendary artifact creature Phyrexian Mite. It is rare. It has Toxic 1 and can't block, like other mites. But it has one more ability. For a white Phyrexian mana and tap, choose a color. Another target creature you control gains Toxic 1 and Hexproof from that color until end of turn. It can't be blocked by creatures of that color this turn.
That's a...
So it gives it like a little almost protection ability.
That's a weird card.
Mm.
So it's not quite a mom.
No.
But it's pretty close.
It's close.
Considering protection is almost all the way gone. You know, except for the swords. I don't even know if we see protection all that much anymore.
It's rare.
Cardboard Samurai says it's more like a stepmom. Oh, it's an evil stepmother, like from Disney, because it gives toxic. Resistance Reunited, by the way, over here next to it. What the card itself does is irrelevant, but I'll read it. For 1 and a white, it's an uncommon instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And equipped creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Like, that's cool and all. But what is happening in the art is Koth and Elspeth clasping hands. And I think it was Will Blanks, or it might have been someone in the Discord, I can't remember, said that they totally would have submitted the flavor text of "You son of a bitch," because Predator.
Yes.
For anyone who doesn't get the reference, when oh god, what are the guys' names? Schwarzenegger and Apollo Creed. Like,
I don't know the characters.
Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers. Yeah, I can't remember the characters' names at all. Dutch? Is it Dutch?
That's one of them.
And Carl Weathers. Yeah, I cannot remember. I can't remember his character's name.
He's just playing himself.
Yeah, he's he's like, yeah, I'm Napolo Creeds. But anyway, if you haven't seen Predator, you should see Predator. It's Dylan. Thank you, Gothic. I knew someone would know. It is one of the great 80s action movies that turns into a horror movie that turns into a monster movie. It's a strange movie.
It is.
What is it, by the way, with movies in the 80s that couldn't make up their mind what genre they were going to be? Like,
I don't know.
Kristen had never seen Gremlins.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, we got to watch Gremlins. And so we watched Gremlins. And Gremlins starts off as like a noir movie at the very beginning. And then it turns into a family Christmas like comedy. And then it turns into a straight horror movie for a little while. And then it turns into a cartoon. And then it veers back into horror movie towards the end. Like, what?
I think it was just the general, excess of the of the time.
Like, I watched Gremlins. I was like, how did this movie ever get made? Like, this would never happen today. People would be like, oh my god, tone problems. Which it was major tone problems then too, but no one noticed. Oh, Razorback said Vanish into Eternity is the end of the story spotlight. So yeah, this is Elspeth with the Silex. Says, faced with a blast that would level not only New Phyrexia, but also a dozen innocent worlds, Elspeth consigned it and herself to the nothingness in between. Oh.
Okay.
So she snatched the Silex away from Phyresis or not Jace and then left. Man, they just do not like their white planeswalkers at all.
No.
Like, how many times Elspeth gonna die? Damn! Why you gotta waste her flavor? Damn! Anybody get that reference? That was... Okay.
I don't remember.
It was Can't Hardly Wait. Why you gotta waste my flavor? Damn! Anyway. Shut up, I love that movie. Bite me. Alright, I'm gonna go back to the multicolored, because that's where the fun stuff is. Oh, hey, we should check out some of these returning characters. Like Azuri. And Glissa.
Yeah.
And Jorkadine. Oh, wow.
Poor Glissa.
Right? But hey, Azuri is green-blue, so I don't know who should read that.
I'll read her. Azuri, Stalker of Spheres. For 2 green-blue, a 3/3 legendary creature, Phyrexian elf warrior, who's rare. So when Azuri, Stalker of Spheres, enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 mana. If you do, proliferate twice. Whenever you proliferate, draw a card.
Buh. Okay, so hang on. This says pay 5 a green and a blue to get a 3/3, proliferate twice, and draw 2 cards.
Yeah, that's what it says.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's fine. I didn't think Azuri would get got though. That's a bummer.
Didn't we already see him got in a commander product?
I don't pay attention to those.
The Azuri Claw of Progress? I thought that was when we still did pay attention.
I mean, we might have like on the show, but I don't pay attention to any commander cards for more than after I read them, then they're gone.
Okay.
And the flavor text here is, my old friends. Have you decided at last to stop clinging to the past and join me in the grand pursuit of perfection? Because you know he said it like that because he's a damn drama queen. You can tell from the pose. Like, normal people don't stand like that. Anyway, why do all of the people that have been completed have the fiber optic camera tentacles? That's a new thing in this set, and it weirds me out.
Yeah, I noticed that.
All right, what's Glissa do?
Glissa Sun Slayer.
Yeah.
For 1, a black and a green, a 3/3 legendary Phyrexian zombie elf.
Wait, Phyrexian zombie elf? Ugh.
Yeah. So, 3 mana, 3/3, with first strike and death touch.
Ooh, those are good.
Yeah, those are very good. And whenever Glissa deals combat damage to a player, choose one. There's 3 choices. Either you draw a card and you lose 1 life.
Nice.
Or destroy target enchantment.
Nice.
Or remove up to 3 counters from target permanent.
Ooh, that's gross.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like New Glissa.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah. For those of you that aren't old, Glissa was the hero of original Mirrodin.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Scars of Mirrodin, she got. Or at some point between Mirrodin and the Scars of Mirrodin, she got.
Yeah.
And now she's all the way got, I guess. More got? She's the goddess. I really like that card, though. Yeah. All right, and then we have Jor Kadeen, the first Gold Warden. Gold Warden is one word. For a red and a white, Jor Kadeen is a 2/2 legendary human rebel with trample. When Jor Kadeen attacks, it gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of equipped creatures you control. Then if Jor Kadeen's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. Huh. Oh, it's the number of equipped creatures, not number of other equipped creatures. So if you slap an equipment on Jor Kadeen, that's 1.
Yes.
And if this power's 4 from any reason, not just from this ability, then you draw a card when he attacks. So that's cool too.
Mm. Yeah, so even something that just gives him
+1 attack.
+1/+1. Yeah.
Yeah. Hand him a lean and scimitar and swing, and good to go. Lean and Scimitar was the first +1/+1 for 1 and equip for 1 enchantment or artifact. No, equipment, damn it. So that's just what's in my head.
Yeah.
Just like Sarkhan the Mad is the planeswalker that has no plus abilities. It was the first one, so that's what my brain imprinted on. But yeah, I like that he buffs himself with other equipped creatures. That's neat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who else is back? Oh, Malira's back. Cool. What's Malira do? Just okay. I'll read
right.
Malira then. So Malira, the living cure. Oh, right. That's what Malira did. She was the anti-Phyresis thing in Scars, wasn't she?
Yeah, and she was also. I think she was also born
Without any
metal,
metal.
even though she's a native Mirren.
Yeah. All right, so what's this one do? Malira, the living cure. For a green and a white, a 3/3 for 2. That's cool. What is she? A human scout. If you would get one or more poison counters, instead you get one poison counter, and you can't get additional poison counters this turn. Oh. That's neat. An exile. Malira, the living cure. Choose another target creature or artifact. When it's put into a graveyard this turn, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Okay, hang on. Exile her. Oh, and when something else dies, it comes back. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Is that Safi Eric's daughter? Almost. Not exactly the same.
Something like that, yeah. And I love in the art, like she's standing in a pool of water that has Phyrexian oil in it, but the oil has formed a perimeter around her, like, because it can't get close to her.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like that thing that you used to do in like elementary school science class where you would touch like the bar of soap to the water and whatever it was, I forget what was in the water,
Right.
would jump away from it.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? I don't remember what that was now. I just remember the visual
like
of it.
lipids and stuff like that.
Do what?
It was like lipids.
Yeah. Razorback said Malira can cure the oil-based Phyresis, but the new completion stuff is different. Oh, well, piss. All right, who else is back? Venser? What? Oh, okay, that makes more sense. All right. Oh, God. Mike, tell us what Venser does.
So events her corpse puppet.
That's gross.
Yeah. For a blue and a black is a 1/3 legendary Phyrexian zombie wizard with lifelink and toxic 1. So, whenever you proliferate, choose one. You got 2 choices. First choice. If you don't control a creature named the Hollow Sentinel, create the Hollow Sentinel. A legendary 3/3 colorless Phyrexian golem artifact creature token.
Huh.
So you get a buddy, 3/3 buddy. The other choice, for when you proliferate, target artifact creature you control gains flying and lifelink until end of turn.
Wow. That's a pretty cool Hollow Sentinel if it suddenly flies and lifelinks.
Mm-hmm.
What a weird card. Why can't they just leave poor Venser dead, man? He took out his heart and everything. Like, come on.
Yeah.
This is just awful. And when I say them, I mean the designers of the Magic cards. Like, why? Why? This is just disrespectful on every level. Like, obviously the Phyrexians are gonna use whatever they have handy because that's what they do. But like, did the designers have to too? Like, is nothing sacred? Damn. I actually feel dirty looking at this card. Poor Venser. He wasn't the best of us. He wasn't even very good. But, damn it. He deserves better than this. This is crap. The card is cool. I do like making a buddy and then, you know. Everybody okay?
I'm fine. I'm getting ready to go to bed, though.
Sorry.
Dirk, you can't go to bed until we read Slow Bad.
Well,
In
read Slow
red.
Bad. That's all
Everybody's
he was there.
everybody's favorite goblin guy.
hmm Slowbad, Iron Golem. Or Goblin, sorry. Iron Goblin. For 2 and a red. So for 3. He's a 3/3 Phyrexian Goblin Artificer, who's rare, and he taps, sacrifice an artifact, add an amount of red mana equal to the sacrificed artifact's mana value. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts.
I really love that Slowbad has gone full Tony Stark here and made him a suit of armor
Mhm.
and a I can't say that on the show, a big ass hammer. And yet he's still like tinkering with artifacts to get other artifacts. So it's a really neat little, cuz he's a 3/3 for 3, which, you know, is fine, but if you're going to not be attacking with it, you better be doing something good with his tap ability. Gothic said Bosch's armor. Who's Bosch? I recognize that name.
Bosch Iron Golem.
Oh. Wait, is that from is that canon, or are you just saying that? What was that, Mike?
I said I can see it now in the art, if that's true.
That'd be why he's the Iron Goblin, because
hmm
his armor comes from the Iron Golem. Same ability?
What?
Is that what Bosch did?
No, Bosch throws stuff for damage.
Oh. Okay, that's what I thought. Was the damage equal to its mana value?
Yes.
Ah, same ability then. Okay, just Slowbad uses it for
Oh,
Slowbad
okay.
things.
I get what you're saying now.
Yeah. That's cool. All right, quick before Dirk leaves. Anybody else returning in the monocolors? Vran? Is Vran a returning character?
Which color is Vran in?
Black.
Okay.
I don't know if I recognize
Someone
that name or
could
not.
Geth in. No, I don't. I don't think the Thanes showed up on cards before. They were referenced, but didn't show up.
Oh, we got Geth. Geth is the name I definitely recognize.
Yes.
Was he a card before? Or was he just referenced again?
He was a card before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically everything you just said was a lie, because here's the Thane.
Well, no, Geth wasn't a Thane before.
Oh, okay. I got you.
hmm
All right, so Geth, Thane of Contracts. He's the Dark Brotherhood. For 1 black, he's a 3/4 legendary Phyrexian zombie. I don't remember what Geth was before. But other creatures you control get -1/-1. What? And for 1 black, and tap, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains, if this creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. Activate only as a sorcery. Huh. It's a card with an actual,
Yeah.
drawback. Geth was a Lord of the Vault and was just a zombie. Oh, okay.
He's been retconned into a Phyrexian zombie, according to Gatherer.
Really?
hmm
Huh. Alright. Anybody else that we need to hit? Unctus. It's just a fun word. You know, like Icker. I don't think there's anybody else.
No. Yeah, there weren't any other
Oh, Kimba.
Thane. Oh, Kemba. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, quick, what's Kimba do?
Kemba. Oh, and I just remembered Thrun. Thrun's in green. Okay, so Kemba Um, Kemba Ka Enduring for 1 and a white is a 2/2 legendary cat cleric. And whenever
Cleric.
Kemba or cat cleric.
Yeah,
Whenever
yeah.
Kemba or another cat enters the battlefield under your control, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to that creature.
Ooh.
Equipped creatures you control get +1/+1.
Ooh.
And pay 3 white, create a 2/2 white cat creature token.
Ooh. Which has the understood ability and attach an equipment you control to it if you like.
That's right. That's fun.
That is fun. Man. I always like the cat equipment decks.
Mm-hmm.
Or the cat equipment theme, rather. It's good stuff. Kemba, how do you keep your whites so white in the hell that is New Phyrexia? Alright, and Thrun? What the hell's a Thrun? I don't remember the Thrun at all.
Thrun the Last Troll.
Oh my god, the last troll!
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap! I forgot all about him! Because he was the last one. So Thrun. Breaker of Silence. For 3 green is a 5/5 troll shaman that can't be countered. Because Thrun. He has trample. He can't He can't be the target of non-green spells your opponents control or abilities from non-green sources your opponents control. And as long as it's your turn, Thrun has indestructible. Wow, they took Troll Shroud up to a whole new level, didn't they?
Yeah. It's like a it's like a hexproof from non-green, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess they couldn't phrase it that way properly. To just say hexproof from non-green, it wouldn't have made enough sense.
Yeah, no. That's cool though. So can't be countered. It's a 5/5 indestructible with trample on the attack, and then they can't just kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, how do you? Oh, how do you handle Thrun? You just throw crap in front of him so you don't die?
Yeah, I guess so. Or do some kind of... Your opponent just does some kind of sweeper during their turn, I suppose.
Well, yeah, okay. That's a good point. Huh. All right then. So I guess we'll stop there for Dirk's sake.
Appreciated.
There is an equipment on the same row as Thrun that is a chair. It's a battle chair. I had this for Masters of the Universe. I'm pretty sure there was a battle chair. There had to have been, right? Just go with me. Say it was.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So all right then. So that was our... Oh yeah, we've been going for 2 hours. Wow, that's our second look at... What is this set called, damn it? Phyrexian All Will Be One, because it's the red card. Yeah. This has ensured I will never forget the name of this red card.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Hopefully we're done. But if Brian wants to do another one next week, we'll come back and look at more. Because there's a lot of weird stuff here. Like I said, I feel like it's slightly more weird stuff than usual.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that's just me or not, but it feels like it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just to play up the weird situation that the plane is in, probably.
Could be.
And the alienness of the Phyrexians. Kind of like what was done for the weird and kind of off-putting or unsettling designs of the Eldrazi in Battle for Zendikar.
Oh. I get it. But all right then. So, Dirk, final thought. Go to bed.
My final thought. Um, Set's got a lot of interesting stuff. It's a very dark set. Like
Yeah.
themes, cards, all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely an Empire Strikes Back set.
Mm-hmm. If the Phyrexians, making again a Star Trek reference, if the Phyrexians doubled as the Borg, coming to take over and assimilate everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna go to bed because I got class and all that good stuff tomorrow.
All right. Well, night, Zerk.
Night, everybody.
All right.
How about you, Mike? What you got?
For final thoughts, I was coordinating with Brian last time I talked to him to try to go to a pre-release event next weekend. That'll be fun if I can. I'm looking forward to it. I was sad about missing. Gosh, why am I blanking on this?
What, the last set?
Brothers War, yes.
You could have just said the last set, and no one
The
would have been
last
the
set.
wiser.
Well, I mean, yeah. Sad I missed Brothers War. I really would like to check this out. We'll see how it plays. Yeah, like you said, just because there's so many odd designs, I really don't know whether I have the right idea in my head for how the set will feel to play. I'm just interested in seeing firsthand what it actually is. Like how Toxic ends up working in practice and how much of an impact the corrupted bonus makes, and how much of a feel bad will it be to be on the receiving end of it once I get my third poison counter.
Yeah. And like, is equipment as a theme even remotely viable in limited?
Mm-hmm. With the Formiridan helps because you don't have the tension between, oh, I have all this equipment, but now there aren't enough creatures in my deck to wear it.
True.
So Formiridan helps a lot.
I'm just wondering if there's enough equipment and stuff that. I mean, obviously you can just put equipment in a deck, but I'm just wondering if there's enough equipment to go with all the stuff that does stuff with equipment. Did that make sense?
I feel like there are. I feel like there's enough enablers for the payoff cards. I think there are. I understand why you would feel like there might be a mismatch there. It is probably close, but again, I would just have to see how it feels in real life, just how the play goes.
Yeah. Also, now that I'm scrolling through the set, I'm seeing a lot of equipment in the colors, which is a thing I keep forgetting is a thing.
Right, yeah. I'm kind of hiding in there. I'm still not used to thinking about them that way.
Yeah, no, me either. You have to understand, chat, that for the vast majority of Magic's history, which is the vast majority of the time we've been playing, colored artifacts were super, super infrequent.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of that, they just weren't a thing at all. So I'm scrolling through the artifacts going, there just aren't that many equipment. I don't think this is a thing. But yeah, they're hiding in the colors, like, because they're bastards.
Yeah, like even in Future Sight, which was supposed to be a showcase for future, designs and possible designs, I think there was only like one.
Yeah, the blue mirror.
Yeah, it was Sarcomite Mirror.
That's the one.
A colored artifact. What?
Craziness.
But I have to say, the vast majority of the Formiridan equipment give you a really good, total result once they hit the battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
Between the 2/2 token and the bonuses they give it. Yeah, I've been checking each one of those, thinking about the creature with the bonus versus the cost of the equipment. I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. There's only been a couple of them where I've been like, oh, well, I guess you can't win them all. But yeah, just like literally only a couple like that.
Yeah, like the Sylvok Battle Chair that we just mentioned. For 6 mana, it gives +4/+4 in trample, but it has Mirrodin, and chat said it's a colossal chair maw.
Yes, it is.
Because it's a 6/6 with trample for 6. In green. Huh. That's weird. I like it, though.
Yeah, me too. Okay. That's it, I suppose.
Fair enough. As for me, I would say I got nothing, but I got too much. I went to finally record the actual video part of the 2022 video today. And no. I don't have anything that can record video at the quality that I need, so I'm going to have to upgrade my phone finally and get a good video recording capability. Ain't that some stuff? That seems like some stuff. But yeah, like I'm like, all right, let's do this. I think the script is as good as I'm going to get. I've already gathered all of my other footage, the 50 some odd things. I'm like, here we go. And then I got through about half of it and looked at the footage and was like, what is this crap? So yeah, I guess tomorrow I'll see about upgrading my stupid phone. I broke it back in, I think it was December. Like the screen is all smashed. But as phone screens do, now it's all smooth, so I don't even notice it anymore. But I've needed a new phone for a while. This thing doesn't hold a charge for very long anymore. The upside is it doesn't take that long to charge either. So, I could plug it in for a few minutes and get like 10 or 15%. I'm like, yeah. So I gotta solve 2 problems at once. Because the only other option is like to get a DSLR type camera or something to use to record video, and that's expensive.
Yeah.
I don't. And I am not camera savvy enough to even know what any of that means. So probably not going to do that. But yeah. And what else? We're almost done with Hollow Knight again. I think I said this last week, but I've streamed it I think 2 or 3 times since last week's stream. And yeah, I've now beaten it twice and gotten 2 different endings, neither of which were the good ending. But I was advised, hey, it's late, you don't want to try it again tonight. I was like, right, I'll do that tomorrow then. But we're up over 100% now in Hollow Knight. So I did get the achievement for beating the game over 100%, even though there's still stuff to do, because it goes to 112. These go to 11. Except they go to 112, because I think they added more stuff, but rather than reconfigure the percentages, they were like, just add more percentage points. Which is probably the smart move, really. So yeah, we're done with Doom 3. And I'm almost done with Hollow Knight. I'm pretty sure after like my next stream, I'll just be done with it. I won't have finished it, but I'll be done with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start Resident Evil 4. Finally, I'm very excited to start Resident Evil 4 on stream, because it's one of my favorite games ever. And I love it so much. And I'm pretty sure I've beaten it on 3 different platforms already. I'm almost certain that I got it on the 360 when it re-released, which means I've played it on the GameCube and the Wii, which was the best, and the 360, and now the PC. And I've got it on the Quest too, so that's 5. It's a different game on the Quest though because it's in VR, but still. So once we're done with Resident Evil 4, I'm gonna be playing Doom, the 2016 one, the one that's balls to the wall, and Spider-Man on the PC, the Spider-Man PS4 game, by Insomniac. There we go.
Right.
Because there were 2 games that made me question whether I wanted to ever consider getting a PS4. And this Final Fantasy VII Remake and Spider-Man. And guess what? They're both on PC now. So yeah, that'll be what happens on the stream in the near future. Is finish Hollow Knight, Resident Evil 4. I still have to finish Inscription, and I'm still playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on hard mode. But yeah, I'm very excited for the future of the near future of the stream. In case you can't tell, like, I can't wait to play all these awesome games. But I gotta finish this other awesome game first. It's nice to not be stuck playing games I don't want to play. Like Doom 3.
Yeah.
which was fine. It wasn't bad. I just didn't want to play it because I'd heard, oh, this is the bad one. And it's not that it's bad, it's just not Doom.
Yeah.
And so that made it hard to start. And then when I started it, I didn't really want to keep playing it. But I finally got through it. I decided not to do any of the DLCs. And yeah. And once I get a proper camera, meaning I get my phone upgraded, I'll be able to record my part of the 2022 video and start putting it all together, which is the part that terrifies me. Because I've got, I don't know, 50 or so files that aren't, me. Various like trailers for things that I talked about on the show or on in the script, and have to figure out how to put all that together and make it look right. But trial by fire, damn it. You learn by doing, right?
Right.
At least let's just hope so. So yeah. But anyway, what I should be doing is telling you about patreon.com/themanapool, where you can become a lifeguard and get shows and stuff early and videos early and odds and ends, the behind the scenes stuff from the show before and after each episode, and the sponsorship shout out. So hey, let me thank in this order. Let me thank our mythic lifeguards: Andrew Odie, ALK Alters, Connor Kennedy, Mr. Dr. Lewis, Jason Doan, Pinball Witch, Casey, Cody Buckowing, Andrew Hunt, Jason Kaus, Team You Hellas Are You, Beardy Man, Jake Jansens, John Parker, Scuzzo, Kim Ho, and Al. Thank you all so very much for your support, and to all of you lifeguards at every tier, and everybody that watches and listens to stuff and whatnot. The 2022 video, by the way, will be going up on the Deep End. So if you're not subscribed to the Deep End, you should do that. And that will help me get my confidence to be able to finally do the Zelda video that I've been working on and off for like a year now, I think, because I don't know how to start or where to start.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But with that, we'll be done with episode 669 of the Mana Pool. Yeah. I guess Mike's Phyresis is still working. Or maybe Brian was fully completed and that's why he's not here.
Oh, maybe.
But I'm pretty sure they got you too, since you've been having issues all night. Poor Mike. Got that oil on him. Gotta get away from that oil. Don't get that oil on you. All right. Thank you all so very much for joining us. And don't get that oil on you.